Success isn't about making radical changes overnight. Success is about making small, positive changes consistently over time. And that's the miracle of 1 hour a day. It's small enough to be realistic, yet significant enough to make a profound difference when applied consistently. Let me tell you what most people don't understand about time. We all have the same 24 hours. The difference between where you are and where you want to be isn't a matter of time, it's a matter of how you choose to invest that time. The wealthy, the accomplished, the fulfilled, they don't have more hours in the day than you do. They simply learn to invest their time more wisely. I often tell my audiences, don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. And developing those skills takes time dedicated, focused time. 1 hour a day can develop any skill you need to transform your life. Now some might say, but I'm so busy already. And I understand that. Life has a way of filling up every minute if we let it. But let me suggest something. Being busy isn't the same as being productive. And being productive isn't the same as being purposeful. You must decide what matters most and give it your undivided attention, even if it's just for 1 hour each day. Most people spend their lives majoring in minor things. They give hours and hours to activities that won't matter a month from now, let alone years from now. But the successful few, they understand the power of deliberate focus on what truly matters. Consider this, 1 hour a day is 365 hours in a year. That's more than 9 40-hour work weeks devoted to something important. Imagine what you could learn, build, or create with 9 weeks of focused effort. The possibilities are extraordinary. You know, I've studied the lives of successful people for decades, and I've found a common thread. They set aside time each day to work on themselves and their dreams. They understand that personal development isn't optional, it's essential, and they don't leave it to chance. They schedule it, they protect it. They honor it as a non-negotiable part of their day. Let me share with you what 1 hour a day could do in different areas of your life. Think about your health. 1 hour of physical activity each day, walking, running, strength training could transform your body and add years to your life. Not just any years, but quality years. The kind where you have the energy to play with your grandchildren and travel the world. Or consider your wealth. 1 hour a day studying investments, developing a business idea, or acquiring a valuable skill could dramatically change your financial trajectory. Most financial disasters are the result of ignorance, not bad luck. And ignorance can be cured with dedicated study and application. What about your relationships? 1 hour a day of undistracted time with your spouse, your children, your friends could deepen those connections in ways you can hardly imagine. In our digital age, giving someone your full attention for an hour is becoming a rare and precious gift. And don't forget about your mind. 1 hour a day reading good books could give you an education that surpasses many formal degrees. As I often say, formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. The books you don't read won't help you. You see, I believe that life doesn't respond to what you need or what you want. Life responds to what you commit to and what you do consistently. Wishing won't change your life, but 1 hour a day of dedicated action will. Now let me ask you this, what's the best use of your 1 hour? Well, that depends on where you want to go. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. But if you have a clear destination, then your 1 hour should be invested in activities that move you closer to that goal. Let me share something with you that changed my perspective years ago. I realized that you don't get paid for the hour, you get paid for the value you bring to the hour. And the same is true for this 1 hour we're talking about. It's not just about putting in the time, it's about what you put into the time. The key is to make that hour count, to approach it with intention and focus, to eliminate distractions and give yourself fully to whatever it is you're developing. Quality matters as much as quantity. You know, some people say they don't have an hour to spare, but the truth is, we all find time for what we truly value. If you told me you'd give me $1 million if I could find an extra hour in my day for the next month, I guarantee you I'd find that hour. We make time for what matters to us, or to put it another way, we reveal what matters to us by how we spend our time. I've often observed that the things that are easy to do are also easy not to do. Reading 10 pages of a good book is easy to do, but it's also easy not to do. Exercising for an hour is easy to do, but it's also easy not to do. Having a meaningful conversation with your spouse is easy to do, but it's also easy not to do. And that's where most people miss their chance for a better life. They let the things that are easy not to do slip away day after day. month after month, year after year. And then they wonder why their lives don't change. But the successful among us, they do the things that others find easy not to do. They make different choices with their 24 hours. And those choices compound over time into dramatically different results. Let me tell you about one of my students from years ago. He was working a regular job, making average income, and feeling stuck. But he decided to take this concept of 1 hour a day seriously. He chose to invest that hour in learning about business and investments. The first few months, he didn't see much change, but he kept at it day after day. After a year, he had enough knowledge to start a small side business. After 2 years, that business was making more than his job. After 5 years, he had built it into a company that employed dozens of people and served customers nationwide, all from 1 hour a day. Now, I'm not promising you'll build an empire in 5 years, but I am suggesting that consistent, focused effort in the right direction can take you much further than you might imagine. You see, most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year. They try to change everything at once, get overwhelmed, and give up. But the wise ones, they pick one important thing and commit to it for the long haul. They understand the power of time and consistency. Let me offer you some practical advice on how to make the most of your 1 hour. First, decide what area of your life needs the most attention right now. Is it your health, your relationships, your finances, your mind? There's no point in building wealth if you're destroying your health. There's no satisfaction in career success if your home life is in shambles. Once you've identified your focus, block out a specific time each day for your hour. For some, it might be early morning before the rest of the world wakes up. For others, it might be during a lunch break or in the evening after the kids are in bed. The specific time doesn't matter as much as your commitment to keep that appointment with yourself. Next, prepare your environment, remove distractions, turn off notifications, create a space that supports focused attention. Remember, this isn't just any hour, this is your investment in a better future. Treat it with the respect it deserves. Then show up every day, even on the days when you don't feel like it, especially on the days when you don't feel like it. As I often say, discipline weighs ounces, but regret weighs tons. A little discipline today prevents enormous regret tomorrow. And finally, track your progress. Keep a journal or a log of how you're using your hour and what results you're seeing. This isn't just for accountability, it's also for encouragement. Sometimes growth happens so gradually that we don't notice it unless we're paying attention. Your log will show you how far you've come and inspire you to keep going. Now, let me address something important. Some of you might be thinking, 1 hour doesn't sound like enough to make real progress. But remember this, extraordinary things happen as a result of ordinary actions performed consistently over time. Think about water dripping on a stone. 1 drop doesn't do much. Neither does 10 drops or 100 drops. But consistent dripping, day after day, year after year, can carve through solid rock. Your 1 hour a day is like that water, seemingly insignificant in the moment, but powerful beyond measure when applied consistently. You know, I'm reminded of a conversation I had with a successful businessman years ago. I asked him the secret to his achievements, and he said something I've never forgotten. He told me, Jim, I've never done anything remarkable. I've just done ordinary things remarkably well for a remarkably long time. That's the essence of what I'm sharing with you today. You don't need to do heroic things to have a heroic life. You just need to do the right things consistently for a long time. And 1 hour a day is the perfect way to ensure that consistency. Let me tell you about another area where 1 hour can make a tremendous difference: personal growth. I've always been an advocate for lifelong learning. The day you stop learning is the day you start declining. But many people approach learning haphazardly, if at all. Imagine instead if you devoted 1 hour each day to deliberate personal development. Reading, listening to educational programs, taking courses, practicing a skill. In 5 years, you'd have invested over 1,800 hours in becoming a better version of yourself. That's the equivalent of earning a master's degree at many universities. I often tell people, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Why? Because if you grow in value, your compensation will follow. Your income rarely exceeds your personal development. If you want more, you must become more. And becoming more takes time, dedicated, focused time. One of the most powerful ways to use your hour is in study, not casual reading, but serious, pen-in-hand study where you're interacting with the material and applying it to your life. Few activities offer a higher return on investment than studying the wisdom of those who have already achieved what you want to achieve. As I've often said, don't just read easy books, that's entertainment. Read the ones that challenge you, that make you think, that make you stretch. Those are the books that will change your life if you let them. And 1 hour a day with such books is a pathway to wisdom that few people ever discover. But study alone isn't enough. You must also spend time in reflection and planning. Use part of your hour to think deeply about your life, to evaluate your progress, to adjust your approach. Most people spend more time planning their vacations than they do planning their lives. Don't make that mistake. Take time to write down your goals, to visualize your ideal future, to create action plans. As the old saying goes, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Your 1 hour can include this vital planning time that most people never prioritize. Now, what about your emotional and spiritual well-being? 1 hour a day in prayer, meditation, or mindfulness practices can transform your inner landscape. It can reduce stress, increase clarity, and build resilience. In our busy, noisy world, this hour of inner work might be the most valuable of all. You know, there's a tremendous difference between being busy and being productive. Many people fill their days with activity but achieve very little of significance. The wise use of 1 hour can produce more lasting results than an entire day of unfocused effort. Let me share something else that's important to understand. The power of your 1 hour multiplies when you use it in a balanced way across different areas of your life. You might devote 1 hour to health on Monday, to finances on Tuesday, to relationships on Wednesday, and so on. Or you might divide your hour into shorter segments focused on different priorities. The specific approach isn't as important as the principle. Give regular, focused attention to all the important domains of your life. Don't build your career at the expense of your health. Don't improve your finances while neglecting your relationships. Success isn't success if it comes at too high a price in other areas. I've often observed that many people spend their lives climbing the ladder only to discover it was leaning against the wrong wall. They achieve what they thought they wanted only to find it doesn't bring the fulfillment they expected. Your daily hour of focused attention can help ensure your ladder is leaning against the right wall before you climb too far. Let's talk for a moment about the enemies of your 1 hour, the things that will try to steal this precious time from you. The first and most dangerous is procrastination. It's so easy to say, I'll start tomorrow, or I'll get to it when things settle down. But tomorrow becomes next week, and next week becomes next month, and soon years have passed with nothing to show for them. As I often say, don't let the errors of yesterday and the fears of tomorrow rob you of the opportunities of today. Your 1 hour exists only in the present. Seize it now, not someday. Another enemy is distraction. We live in the most distracted society in human history. Notifications, emails, social media, endless entertainment options are all competing for your attention. And remember, what gets your attention gets you. Guard your focus jealously. During your 1 hour, be fully present with whatever you're doing. A third enemy is the opinion of others. Some people won't understand why you're investing this time. They might discourage you, ridicule you, or try to pull you back to their level. Remember, you don't need everyone's approval to improve your life. As I've often said, let others lead small lives, but not you. Let others argue over small things, but not you. And finally, there's the enemy of inconsistency. It's easy to be disciplined for a day or a week. It's much harder to maintain that discipline for months and years. But that's where the real magic happens, in the long-term consistency that most people never achieve. You know, I've observed that success leaves clues. If you look at the habits and practices of successful people, you'll find patterns. And one of those patterns is the deliberate use of time. They don't just let time pass, they invest it. They understand that time is the one resource you can never get more of, so they use it wisely. Think about this. The way you spend your time ultimately becomes the way you spend your life. Every hour is a brick in the structure of your life's work. What are you building with your bricks? A magnificent cathedral or a crumbling shack? The choice is yours, and it's made 1 hour at a time. I want to emphasize something that many people misunderstand about success. Success isn't something you pursue, it's something you attract by the person you become. And becoming that person takes time dedicated, focused time like the hour we're discussing. When you invest an hour a day in personal growth, you're not just doing something, you're becoming someone. You're developing the character, the knowledge, the skills, the mindset that will attract the opportunities you desire. As I often tell my audiences, success is not to be pursued, it's to be attracted by the person you become. Let me share a powerful perspective on this 1 hour. Think of it as paying yourself first. Most people pay everyone else first, their bills, their bosses, their obligations, and then if there's anything left over, they might invest in themselves. But the wise ones reverse this order. They pay themselves first by investing in their own growth and development. Your 1 hour is a way of saying, I matter, my dreams matter, my growth matters. It's an act of self-respect and self-value. And paradoxically, this seeming selfishness is actually the foundation for greater service to others. As you grow in wisdom, skill, and capability, you have more to offer the world. Now let me address a question that might be on your mind. What if I miss a day? Well, the answer is simple. Get back on track as quickly as possible. Don't let a single miss turn into a permanent abandonment. The greatest threat to your success isn't failure, it's quitting. I often share this philosophy. If you drop a dish and it breaks, you don't throw away the whole set. You just clean up the broken one and keep using the rest. The same principle applies to your 1-hour commitment. If you miss a day, don't abandon the whole practice. Just clean up the miss and keep going. Remember this key insight. It's not what you do occasionally that shapes your life. It's what you do consistently. One missed day won't derail your progress, but abandoning the practice altogether certainly will. Stay committed to the long game. Let me tell you about another dimension of this 1-hour practice, the compound effect. Small positive actions repeated consistently over time create results far greater than the sum of the individual actions. It's like compound interest in finance, seemingly small at first, but eventually enormous. Imagine you're on a long journey. Each day you have a choice. You can take one step backward, stay in place, or take one step forward. If you choose that one step forward every single day, over time you'll travel an immense distance. Your 1 hour a day is that one step forward. I've found that most people dramatically underestimate what they can accomplish with consistent effort over time. They look at someone who's achieved great things and think, I could never do that. But what they don't see are all the hours, all the days, all the years of steady work that produce those results. Success isn't a lightning strike. It's more like growing a tree. It takes time, patience, and consistent nurturing. Your 1 hour a day is that nurturing time. It may not seem like much in the moment, but over years it produces a life of extraordinary quality and achievement. Let me share something else I've observed. The people who achieve the most aren't necessarily the most talented or the most advantaged. Often they're simply the ones who kept going when others stopped. They're the ones who showed up day after day, hour after hour, when everyone else got distracted, discouraged, or disinterested. As I often say, success is doing ordinary things extraordinarily well. And what could be more ordinary than dedicating 1 hour to something important? Yet few people do this extraordinarily well with focus, with consistency, with purpose. Be one of those few. I want to address an important question. When should you start this 1 hour practice? And the answer is simple: today. Not when conditions are perfect. Not when you feel more motivated. Not when life settles down. Today. There's a proverb that says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. The same is true for your 1 hour investment. Don't waste energy regretting that you didn't start sooner. Just start now and let time work in your favor. I'm often asked about motivation. People say, Jim, how do I stay motivated to keep going day after day? And my answer might surprise you. I tell them not to depend on motivation at all. Instead, depend on discipline. Motivation is like a weather pattern. It comes and goes. Some days you'll feel inspired, and other days you won't. But discipline is a decision. It's showing up and doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. Your 1 hour shouldn't depend on your emotional state. It should be a non-negotiable commitment. As I often say, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Build that bridge every day with your 1 hour and you'll reach destinations that others only dream about. Let me address another concern some people have. They say, but Jim, I'm already so far behind. 1 hour a day seems too little, too late. And to that I respond with another question. Compared to what? Compared to doing nothing. Compared to continuing on your current path. Remember, the question isn't whether 1 hour a day will make you an overnight success. The question is whether it will make your future better than your present. And the answer to that is an unequivocal yes. 1,000 times yes. I often share this perspective. Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Your 1 hour a day is how you become better. It's how you develop more skills. It's how you grow into someone who can handle greater challenges and seize greater opportunities. Now there's another dimension to this 1 hour commitment that I haven't mentioned yet, and it might be the most powerful of all. It's the way this practice affects your self-image and your sense of personal integrity. When you make a commitment to yourself and keep it day after day, you build trust with yourself. You begin to see yourself as someone who does what they say they'll do. This self-trust is invaluable. It's the foundation for confidence, for positive expectation, for the courage to set even bigger goals. On the other hand, when you make commitments to yourself and break them repeatedly, you undermine your own self-trust. You begin to see yourself as someone who can't be counted on, even by yourself. And that negative self-image will hold you back in every area of life. Your 1 hour a day is more than just the tangible results it produces. It's also about who you become in the process, someone who honors their commitments, who values their time, who invests in their future. That transformation of identity might be the greatest benefit of all. Let me share something else that's important to understand. The first few weeks of your 1-hour commitment will likely be the hardest. You're establishing a new pattern, and your old habits will resist. That resistance doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It means you're doing something important. As I often tell my audiences, we must all suffer from one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is discipline weighs ounces while regret weighs tons. Those early weeks might involve the pain of discipline, but it's a small price to pay to avoid the freight of regret later on. Stick with it through those early days. Soon, your 1 hour will transform from a discipline you have to maintain into a habit you enjoy. It will become part of your identity, part of who you are. And at that point, the effort required diminishes dramatically. You know, I've studied the lives of many successful people, and I've found that they all share a common trait. They take responsibility for their lives. They don't blame circumstances, other people, or bad luck for their situations. They ask instead, what can I do today to improve my tomorrow? Your 1 hour a day is a powerful expression of that responsibility. It's saying my life is my project and I'm investing in it daily. It's refusing to be a victim of circumstances and choosing instead to be the architect of your future. I often tell people you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And in a sense, your 1 hour allows you to spend time with the best teachers, the most inspiring examples, the wisest guides, even if only through books, courses, or reflective practices. It's a way to elevate that average and, by extension, to elevate your life. Let me share another perspective on this 1 hour that might inspire you. Think of it as making a daily deposit in your own personal development bank account. These deposits may seem small individually, but over time they accumulate and generate interest. Eventually, you'll be able to make withdrawals in the form of opportunities, capabilities, and achievements that wouldn't have been possible otherwise. Just as financial experts advise us to start saving early to benefit from compound interest, I advise you to start your 1 hour practice now to benefit from the compound effect on your personal growth. The sooner you begin, the greater the eventual return. Now, I want to address something that might have occurred to you. You might be thinking, if 1 hour is good, wouldn't 2 or 3 hours be even better? And in theory, yes, but in practice, it's usually better to start with a commitment you can absolutely keep than to overcommit and then abandon the practice entirely. As I often say, it's better to do something imperfectly than to do nothing flawlessly. 1 hour consistently is far better than 3 hours sporadically. Master the 1 hour first. Once it's firmly established as a habit, then consider expanding it if your circumstances allow. Let me emphasize again the importance of what you choose to do during your hour. Not all activities are created equal. Some have a much higher return on investment than others. Reading a trashy novel for an hour is very different from reading a life-changing book. Walking aimlessly for an hour is very different from following a progressive fitness program. Choose activities with the highest leverage, those that will produce the greatest positive change with the time invested. As I've often advised, don't major in minor things. Use your hour for what matters most. And remember, what matters most will change over time as your circumstances change. There may be seasons when your health needs the most attention and others when your relationships or your finances take priority. Be flexible enough to redirect your hour as needed while maintaining the consistency of the practice itself. You know, I've observed that most people never decide how they'll spend their lives until it's too late. They let external demands, social expectations, and random circumstances dictate their days. And then they wonder why they feel unfulfilled, why they haven't achieved their dreams, why life seems to be passing them by. Your 1 hour a day is a declaration that you're taking back control. You're saying, this portion of my day, at least, will be invested according to my highest values and my deepest aspirations. It's a small act of reclamation that, over time, can transform your entire life. Let me share a powerful truth. Your life moves in the direction of your most dominant thoughts. What you think about most is what you become. And your 1 hour gives you the opportunity to direct your thoughts intentionally toward what you want to create and who you want to become. Whether you use that hour for reading, for planning, for skill development, for creative work, or for inner growth, you're choosing to focus your mind on what matters to you. You're programming your subconscious to move toward your goals. You're setting forces in motion that will continue to work even beyond that hour. I often tell my audiences, you don't get paid for the hour, you get paid for the value you bring to the hour. And the same is true for this personal hour we're discussing. It's not just about putting in the time, it's about the value you create during that time. Be intentional, be focused, be fully present. And here's another insight that might help you. You don't have to feel like doing something to do it. Action often precedes motivation, not the other way around. Some days you won't feel like showing up for your hour. Show up anyway. Often the act of beginning will generate the energy and enthusiasm to continue. As I've often said, the secret of your success is found in your daily routine. It's not in occasional heroic efforts or sporadic bursts of energy. It's in what you do day in and day out when no one is watching, when there's no immediate reward. Your 1 hour is the cornerstone of that success-producing routine. Let me address another common concern. Some people say, but Jim, I'm not sure what to do with my hour. I don't have a clear direction, and to that I say start anyway. Begin with exploration. Use your hour to read widely, to try different practices, to experiment with various forms of development. As you invest this time, clarity will emerge. Your interests will become more defined. Your strengths will become more apparent. Your purpose will come into sharper focus. But none of this can happen if you're waiting for perfect clarity before you begin. Remember what I often share. If you're not willing to risk the unusual, you'll have to settle for the ordinary. Taking that 1 hour each day might seem unusual in a world where most people let time slip through their fingers. But it's this unusual commitment that will lift you above the ordinary results that most people achieve. Now, as we near the end of our time together, I want to leave you with a challenge. Will you commit to 1 hour a day for the next 90 days? Not forever, just 90 days. Give this practice a fair trial. See what it produces in your life. I believe the results will inspire you to continue long beyond those initial 90 days. And if you're thinking, I'm not sure I can do it every single day, then start with 5 days a week, or even 3. Begin where you are with what you can manage consistently. Remember, the goal isn't perfection. The goal is progress. And any regular investment in yourself will produce progress over time. Let me share one final thought. At the end of your life, you won't regret the television you didn't watch or the social media you didn't scroll through. You won't regret the gossip you didn't engage in or the trivial matters you didn't worry about. What you might regret is the time you didn't invest in becoming who you could have been, in building what you could have built, in creating the life you could have created. Your 1 hour a day is your insurance against that regret. It's your commitment to making the most of the time you've been given. It's your investment in a future that's better than your past. As I've often said, let others lead small lives, but not you. Let others argue over small things, but not you. Let others cry over small hurts, but not you. Let others leave their future in someone else's hands, but not you. Your 1 hour a day is how you take your future to your own hands. It's how you lead a large life instead of a small one. So what will you do with your 1 hour? The choice is yours. But I urge you, choose courageously and choose now. Because 1 hour a day really can change your life. And your life is worth that investment. Thank you.